I am Katya Burrows, and I'm editor-in-chief of a journal called Neuron, which is a neuroscience journal based at Cell Press, and we're based in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Science, to me, it isn't really a collection of facts. It's a process by which we take observations and we look at them objectively without bias and turn them into a base of knowledge. So it's really the scientific method, it's the scientific process, and also ultimately kind of a way of looking at the world. In its purest form, the scientific method is about sort of observing something and creating hypotheses as to how something may work, and then designing experimental tests for that hypothesis. And then one would put together a set of experiments, whether you're a molecular biologist who's doing wet lab experiments or a theoretical neuroscientist who's doing more kind of theory or computationally based analytic approaches. But all of those methods, whether they're wet lab or theoretical, are sort of designed to test specific hypotheses and to look for basically results that either align with those hypotheses or that aren't aligned with those hypotheses, in which case you can generate more hypotheses to test with more experiments. It's been hundreds of years of publishing research papers, and they're essentially about communicating our results to other scientists, to other parts of the public that would want to know, and about doing that in a way that's rigorous. Ultimately, publishing is about communication and about allowing others to build on your work and allowing kind of important implications of your work to find its way out into society and the world. So, I mean, many of us in basic research are potentially thinking about applied solutions. So maybe our basic research tells us something very fundamental about how the brain works, but there's broader implications of that might be important for whether it's medicine or technology, and we want people beyond our immediate community to know about it. And so publishing is one route to basically bring a wider audience to your work. I think publishing is also important for iteration and for building and for allowing new ways of testing those ideas through either other methods or other people applying maybe the same methods. It also, I think, is important for replication, for knowing whether the results that you see are limited to your lab and your lab setting or your sets of experiments that were put forward, or whether under other conditions similar results would be similarly seen. I think one of the things that journals do that's most important for science, and I think also for the ultimate implications of science for the larger public, is peer review. And peer review is, I think, still the best process that we have for really rigorously vetting scientific research. And that's not to say that scientific research in its raw form is wrong or incorrect or bad or anything negative. It's just that it is raw, and I think the peer review process really takes that raw experimental work and analysis and helps shape it in a more rigorous way. So I think it's actually really important for the broader public to really know the difference between work that's published and rigorously evaluated by a peer review process versus other kinds of published work that they may find out there that's not peer-reviewed. You just start reading and you just start realizing that there's an idea here that really kind of reshapes how people are thinking about something. It doesn't get any better than that. It's just really exciting. It's really exciting to think about how that's going to shape the field going forward, but you also really think about the scientists who brought that to light, like what it was like for them to have that moment when they realized, oh gee, it doesn't work the way that we thought it worked. It might work this way. So it's just surprising, I guess, is the way that I can best describe it. It's just kind of a light goes on and you realize, well, of course, it's really interesting.